Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Talking Horses, Saturday, January 2nd. Track announcer Anthony Stabile, meaningless dweeb Andy Serling. What's going on?
It's better than that. Good. A-team again. Claude's in here with us.
Jose.
Jose's fired up.
Jose's moving
Jose's
people around.
fired up.
You know, I think that he was on his best behavior yesterday because it was like his first day of the new year. Now he's moving people around like chess pieces again. He's right back in the groove. He's back.
He's taken his chair back. And
you know, I briefly want to touch on yesterday's card. I don't know why he keeps going to these single shots. He's like Mitch. Mitch goes to single shots all the time.
You said you're a meaningless dweeb. He wants to put it on the. He wants to put it on the star. I don't blame him.
The track yesterday. I absolutely understand the concept that speed was a big advantage yesterday. Maybe it was, but you know, I was looking through the buyer figures last night, which I usually do, just to see if anybody ran any big numbers. And you look through the day's card, and the horses that won in the front end, Tenderfoot was some. I think he was an alien that came from outer space and he invaded Tenderfoot's body. And a few people who bet a lot of money knew about that.
7 races into 2021, we had our first they knew.
Well, that was the biggest they knew in months, but they just knew that horse couldn't lose, and he blew out the field. And the winner of the feature ran very well, and you could say he had a slightly exaggerated performance, maybe, but maybe he's a lightly raced improving horse, to be fair, because Montauk Daddy, 73 buyer. You would have thought if it was a big speed track, the way that horse ran, that he might have gotten an 80 or something.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? He ran the same kind of numbers he ran in his 2 dirt races. So I feel like if it was a big speed type bias, it would have exaggerated the performances. And if you look through the figures during the day, the first winner looked like it. First winner ran a 48 buyer. He got a 31 first time under adverse circumstances.
Right.
So I don't really think. I wonder if closers were more inhibited than speed horses. I don't know. It's a tricky question, and it won't matter today because we have a totally different track.
Totally different track. We got a good deal of rain. It was funny. As soon as the card ended yesterday, I was packing up the booth. I walked downstairs, and it was pouring. I mean, and there were some heavy raindrops, and then it rained throughout the night. So that track, you don't want to say, washed away is a bad term, but whatever happened yesterday, I don't know if you can really bank on it today. And because it's a sloppy track today.
Do you think the track was really muddy all day yesterday?
I think early in the card it was, and then it kind of leveled off a little bit because the sun went away. And when the sun goes away, it's very hard this time of year with the temperatures to get any of that, to really get moisture out of the track just from the atmosphere.
But would you say it was at least the good side of muddy?
Yes, but there was moisture in that track.
No,
was
I'm
it
not
muddy?
saying it wasn't.
Probably not, but there was a good enough amount of moisture in the track throughout the day.
Be interested to see if at any point today they harrow the track because it is sunny out, but right now
supposed to get some more rain tonight.
No, tomorrow, late tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow?
Late
they
tomorrow.
Changed it. Okay.
No,
all right, very
not
good.
according to my phone. Anyway, you need to head over to Naira Bets. If you are not a member of Naira Bets, no better time to sign up in the present. Sign up for Naira Bets, support racing in New York. Keep the money in the game. I think that's the most important thing we can all do. Play through Naira Bets. We'll match up to $200 of your deposit bonus. Match $200. It might be tomorrow morning it starts to rain. Anyway, I can never figure these things out.
So you bet $20 in the last race here and $20 in the last race at Tampa. You have to hit both. Win bets in both, and then you get a $20 bonus.
Okay.
So it's almost like a little bit of a catch daily double.
So you was running at Tampa today?
I did not.
New and improved, making her first start since the Mrs. Revere. We'll see if she's the new and further
if she's new and improvered.
Yeah, I like that.
We use efforting on HRN when we're trying to get a guest on the phone. Naja Thompson, by the way, joined us this morning.
Wow.
On the Equine phone. By us, I mean me, but I'm big enough to say us. Naja, he said to say hello to everyone.
New president of the New York Breeders,
yes,
Thoroughbred Breeders.
Director.
Yeah, or executive director. Is that the exact title?
That's the exact title, yeah.
I was texting with him last night.
He's doing well.
He didn't tell me he was coming on.
Yeah.
Very shy about that.
Yeah.
How was he?
It was great.
Excellent. Race number 1 today. I don't have much to say about race number 1. I think the public will agree by post time. The bottom 2, Democratic Values, and Joycey Has Pizzazz are the 2 horses that are going to take far and away the bulk of the play. And if you want to try to beat these horses, be my guest. I'm not. Yeah. And I thought Democratic Values is probably the more likely one of the 2. But I don't have a real opinion besides that. I don't have anything to say.
No, not much to say here. Both dropping in. You want to, you got to talk circuit, obviously. One horse is dropping in from maiden special weights down at Laurel. One horse is dropping in from maiden special weights at Saratoga and Belmont. I know the one I want. I want the one dropping in from the maiden races at Belmont and Saratoga. That's Democratic Values. Clickers go on here as well. Get Jose Lascano in the boot. Yeah, they figure to be...
It's going to be a short price.
They figure to be short price.
I pay no attention to the board right now where there's very little money bet. And ouch, 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 took some early money. It's the first fall from a dam that didn't do much running for trainer Wayne Potts, who, for what it's worth, is 8 for 74 on the dirt with first-time starters over the last 5 years.
A lot of the whole trial, every barn has, a little bit of an Achilles heel. It certainly seems like Wayne's is with the firsters.
Well, most trainers don't win a high percentage of firsters. It's not necessarily an easy thing to do, and it's not necessarily, you have to have the goods as well. Race number 2, I thought race number 2 was a bit of a tricky race. I thought Charlotte Webley was dangerous near. We'll take a look at Charlotte Webley. This is 2 races back, finishing second. And last time out, they just got overly aggressive with her, and they ran her a little above her head. The thing is, there figures to be some pace in this race, and you got a horse that really is probably more comfortable if she can make the lead, and I don't see how she makes the lead on paper in this race. I mean, you've got speeds. You have to think, Louis Carden's going with Wings of Fire, left leading Lucy's not slow. Princess in Charge has some speed, so she has speed, but there's a bunch of speeds in this race.
There seems like there's an awful lot of speed, and certainly more speed than she's faced in her last 2 starts. She's taken the drop down to 16, but the barn, which had a nice little 2-week run, is starting to quiet down a little bit now as well, and you got to wonder.
You left this horse out?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, is this just, I'm going to pick every Wayne Potts horse?
I'm not picking every Wayne Potts horse, but this was the kind of race where there was a lot of speed in the race. I don't think this filly is that slow elite speed. I think she could be I don't want to say just off the speed, but I think with all the speed that appears to be signed on in here, I think she figures to work out a trip.
Wait a second, why with a lot of speed would a speed type horse that's not going to be able to get the lead work out a trip?
She's not, well, I don't know if she's a speed, she's not going very fast in her races.
Well,
those poly-track races don't,
I don't
the
disagree,
don't really unfold as quickly as the dirt races.
But
so
why would she be comfortable on a surface she's never been on, having to change her running style? You say she can work out a trip. I would argue she probably works out an uncomfortable trip.
See, I don't think they necessarily.
She's woefully slow. I mean, she better be much better on the dirt.
I don't think they're necessarily changing running styles. I just think these horses get outrun a little bit now.
Right, but is that helpful?
Well, we're going to find out, but I'm also going to find out at, I think, a square price. I think this filly's going to be in the 8-10 to 1 range.
She's indefensible on her PPs. This is just a Wayne Potts.
You're hoping she moves up on the dirt like some of the horses have. And listen, they've paid big enough prices where I think in a race where I have some questions about some of the more logical horses, I want to take a little swing with her.
One horse paid a good price. Most of them have failed miserably. Just to be fair, it's not a particularly winning play. Okay, good luck. I thought the 9 was logical. I think Tough Bird cutting back in distance is kind of a logical horse down in the inside. We saw this race very, very differently.
We did.
I think Webb's Meb is a very interesting claim for AC Avia, who doesn't claim a lot. He's got decent numbers off the claim for what it's worth. At Naira, he's 6 for 26 with a big ROI because he had a very big priced winner in there. The ROI is like 545. But I've always thought this horse had some ability. Has handled wet tracks in the past. And I thought she might be kind of an interesting horse for AC Avia, who's done some sneaky things around here off the claim. I think you'll agree. And I thought she'd fall a little under the radar because she just doesn't look that good on paper.
Fair enough. Listen, I am not going to knock anyone in here.
Well, I mean, I think you have to make some decisions. Like, I'm not a fan of Princess in Charge.
Okay.
I know she's probably better at 6 than at a mile, but I'll never get past her losing to Appletini. I'll never get past that.
Yeah, but the track kind of helped Appletini that day.
Matt didn't.
Okay.
No, it didn't.
Hey, listen. Again, I think it's hard to really make a strong case for anybody in here. At the same time, I think it's hard to. I mean, she's cutting back. She's running at the level now. She's getting back to the sprint distance, and the race to Appletini, where she could say
that was a bad effort.
I
mean, she's run faster figures going longer.
She didn't go on the bench for 5 months after the race, so.
Well, we all did.
No, that was in June. No, that was in June.
That was in January.
That was in January.
Right.
Yeah, but she's gone for 9 months.
Okay, but still, I don't really think that was a reason.
Okay.
But okay, we'll see.
Right.
See how it plays out.
2 mile races back to the sprint. I don't know.
Yeah, she's going to take money. I
Nothing
think
would
she's a
surprise me.
bad horse at a short price. I want to get a little bit longer here. Race number 3. Excuse me. Race number 3. We'll take a look at Money Ride. 2 races back, and last time out, Money Ride. Another one of those races just kind of got completely stayed out at the start last time, and didn't even run that badly in there, though the race did fall apart in the late stages. But Money Ride has just been in great form. You go back to these races, isn't he supposed to be tough?
Yeah, and for a horse that had some dirt races in his past, coming in here from Woodbine from Mike Maselli, the 2 races here in New York were really good. He lost a position last time. This is a horse that was never too far from the lead. So the trouble he faced last time cost him dearly because he lost all of his position early. And then, like you said, Andy, he actually recovered nicely, gets beat less than 4 lengths. You don't assume he's going to get troubled again, especially now, smaller field, an outside draw. He made a lot of sense to me today.
Yeah. See, I thought some others. Excuse me, I saw a frog in my throat.
You got to get your boy Morning Breeze. I mean, Morning Breeze is the horse that, I figured he'd be a big price in here. He's the second longest shot on the board. He's the kind of horse that can certainly spice up the exotics in here.
I think he's a player in this race. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree at all with you. I think Took Charge is a little interesting coming off the layoff. They tried a mile and a 16th with him, and he, his 2 sprint races. I don't really trust that 4-horse field, but he did handle Money Ride. Now, Money Ride's obviously improved since then, but I don't think it should be ignored that he beat Money Ride by 7 lengths that day.
I don't disagree. They tried him in the private terms. He went on a suicide mission on the front end. We haven't seen him now for almost 10 months, but yeah, his 2 sprints absolutely make him a player in here.
And he's got to go from the inside, and that's why I don't like Rejected Again at all, because as opposed to being able to control like he did last time out, I think he's got a much tougher field and a much tougher road to hoe here.
And the 2 things with Took Charge, one, he has a similar break from June to February, from 19 to 20, and he ran well, again, beat Money Ride. So, but you can look at that 2 ways. One, he's run well off that break. 2, he's now run 3 times and has 2 almost year-long breaks.
Fair enough. Race number 4, there are 3 major players in race number 4, the 6, 7, and 9. And we'll start out by looking at Z Finale and Ring Good, running 3rd and 4th last time out.
Yeah, and here's Ring Good and Z Finale. Ring Good on top of the lead here. Z Finale's coming down the center of the course. Ring Good getting out a little bit late in the lane here. Look, these horses, right? They start to pile up losses here. Ring Good's 0 for 11. Yeah, but they're still players in here. I mean, Ring Good's gonna go try to mile again. Maybe he was a little too close to the pace last time. I guess that it was the first time he was ever really.
Well, the Speed Horse won the race.
But the Speed Horse won the race, yeah. So.
I think you want him because he's going to be forward here, and the presumption with Ring Good is he's going to be the controlling speed in this race on paper. So I actually think he'll run better. Z Finale's fine. The problem with Z Finale is you're looking at a horse that's going to be 2 to 1 today, and you got 12 to 1 last time out. The bloom is completely off the rose with Z Finale. You liked the horse last time; it was a good pick, but you're not getting paid. So I'm never going to pick these horses. You pick these horses all the time. I don't pick horses that I bet at big prices when you had your chance to get the money, and they come back and the whole world's betting them.
It was hard for me.
It's a bad gamble.
I didn't want to take Ring Good. It was hard for me to make a case. I thought about putting Ratchet on top, the number 2, just simply because a little bit of a fresh face. Dave Duggan, his horse draws inside. I won't be surprised if this horse shows the speed.
Those Americanes are big dirt horses.
That's what I know.
Well, you tried that turf pedigree horse in the last race yesterday. You and everybody else in the racetrack. To the 16th pole.
That's
now,
what I'm trying to say. It was hard for me to make a case for anybody else in here.
Well, I mean, Judge Alexander, I probably would have preferred it was a dry track because it does feel like he might be better in a dry track. Watching his race last time out, he just got completely lost in that race after braking slowly. I don't really know. Maybe he stinks, but now he's in this mediocre bunch, and I know it's the same group, but this is an easier field than going the 6 furlongs with Posick and Disco wiring the field last time, and not an easy race to close in. And I just want to give him one more chance against this group. I've had about enough of Judge Alexander, but he's not going to be that short a price. And frankly, I don't need Z Finale at 2 to 1 and Ring Good at 8 to 5.
I think you used the right word too. I think after last time, if I were Jorge Abreu, I probably wouldn't sprint this horse anymore. He just looks like he gets too shuffled out of things.
I don't
just
disagree.
Loses a little bit of contact. I would probably run the horse long going forward, but Jorge Abreu won a lot more races than I did last year.
Well, he's running him longer, isn't he?
Yes,
So
yeah.
I think he's showing he agrees.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. And I think it's sort of up to Manny to try. I mean, it's not really, there's nothing Manny can do if he's just sluggish, but try to get him a little bit more into racing.
He unfortunately has the look of one of those horses so far from what we've seen that
been
he's
a little
just
sluggish.
coming out of the gate. He really needs to be, you got to stay on top of him.
No, I don't disagree. He's a bit of a slowster. Race number 5, we'll take a break after race number 5.
Slowster, I've never heard Slowster. I like that.
Is he not?
He is. Oh, he absolutely is. I've just never heard the term from you.
So race number 5, the horse to beat is the number 9 Creative Style. We'll take a look at him losing to Super Dude last time out. Danny Gargan off the claim. I have a Danny Gargan stat after this. He has a very high percentage off the claim, but he also claimed this horse for $25,000. He's running back for $12,500. For what it's worth, he's just 2 for 6 off the claim when he drops 50% or more off the claim, the $1.50 ROI. And listen, Danny seems to be winning. I think he's about 100% over the last 3 weeks or so, or month.
And both here and at Gulfstream.
Yeah, I don't think he's running a horse that's losing anywhere. But to be honest with you, I have trouble. And the thing is, here's a guy's winning almost 30% of the claim. And this is, you know, I don't want Danny to get upset and look at that stat and think it's bad. It's not like the other stat that he thought was bad that wasn't. It's that the ROI is reflective of that. In other words, if this horse wins 30% of the time and you bet on it, you're not going to make money.
That's
that's
from a wagering point of view, that's a terrible
stat. You can't knock trainers. It's like, you know, you look at those Steve Asmussen stats. He's got nothing but $1.50 ROIs while winning at 25 to 30% with all of them because he's running a lot of short-priced horses. But he's winning a high percentage. You see this with Todd Pletcher. You see it with Chad Brown.
So a horse like this is, I think, a great example of how, obviously, claim this horse for $25,000. Nobody claims horses wanting to claim them for $25,000, run them for half of what they do. But, and this is a big but, the way the purse structure is now, you have an escape clause because this purse is $35,000.
I understand, but you basically break even after having the horse
I understand,
for a month.
but at the very least, I think it makes it more difficult makes it more difficult to figure out.
Assuming he wins.
Correct, but I think it makes it more difficult to figure out what you want to do with a horse.
When he runs third in here, when he runs third, and they lose, you know, $15,000 on the whole shenanigans, and you know, you better be sure he's going to win a race like this.
I don't disagree.
He's going to lose them.
I don't disagree, and you know what? Especially with the moisture in the track, which I don't think he's the biggest fan of. He's run fine. I think he's a little better with a fast track. I don't think he's a sure thing today. I mean, if you're playing pick fours and pick fives,
no one's saying he's a sure thing.
If you're playing pick fours, your point is, I think your point is a good one. Where if you're going to drop him, you better make sure you're going to get even with him. And I don't think, by any means, this horse is a sure thing today.
Why do you like hardcore folklore? But let me tell you something. If I could break you of one horrible habit, continuously picking horses off of wins. You've got to get away from that.
But he won 2 back, and he came back and won last time.
He beat Mills. With
I understand he beat
Mills would be 8th in here.
No, but I'm going to say it to you again. I like the horses that are kind of in form.
But
and not the horses
don't win.
that have...
What do you think you should start? I'm going to start taking an ROI of the horses you pick off of wins. And when I show it to you in 2 months, maybe, just maybe, it'll be painful enough for you to stop picking. Yeah, but being stubborn as a horse player is a losing endeavor.
If you're... The only other horse...
Well, he's not winning this race off of any recent
Why
race
can't he win the race?
Well, they can all win, but the reality is that he got very lucky to get up last time over Playwright, who's non-content. It's just...
You wouldn't want Playwright in here?
Oh, God, I'd book every cent on Playwright if there were octafectas in this race. You and I are on a completely different page.
Yeah, we are.
See, I think if you're taking a horse off a win who's moving up, you're supposed to take Bluegrass Cat Smile because he's got the back form to go at, and I like the claim that's on. You're going to pick a lot of Wayne Potts horses. I don't see it. I don't see this guy performing miracles out there. I think we're on very different pages here. You know, I have a lot of love for Bluegrass Cat Smile, but when Scarfa Downs finally showed up in here, I don't love the wet track for him, but the reality is his race at Belmont in the sloppy track's actually good. That was the day you couldn't close at all on that racetrack.
Well, it's kind of hard to ascertain this horse's wet track form, too, because this horse was running over his head in a lot of the wet track races. And the fact that the horse hit the board in more than half of the starts probably means you like it. Listen, I think he's an absolute player in here. I do.
See, I think the Arco Vogler's 4-1 morning line. I don't like him at all. Now, having said that, I picked a horse that's kind of an all-or-nothing type with Ectobar. He's the speed. And Nick Juarez, one thing we've seen from Nick Juarez, when he rides the speed, they go to the front. Now, I don't trust
Gave Lost in Rome a great ride yesterday. Kept that horse in the game the whole way. That horse ran yesterday. Gave that horse a great ride yesterday. And your horse in the last?
Well, you could have been in front and the horse in the last.
45-4.
I told you before. I told you before. That horse is one of the fastest horses on the grounds.
Wow.
That horse is one of the fastest horses on the grounds. I said that before. It's not like I was surprised that he was 10 in front in that race.
Yeah. Gave him a good ride. He did the right thing. Nick Juarez is doing the right thing. He's using the speed of his speed horses.
That horse didn't even break, and he ran that fast.
Right.
Ectobar's going to be in front. He's making a significant drop down. He comes out of a race where he was speed, and the race completely and totally incinerated, so I think it makes him look worse than it is. He takes a big drop. He's not going to be a short price. I don't like a lot of horses in this race. I think the 9 is way the horse to beat. I'm 4s and 9s and a little 1.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to be, listen, he's going to be in front. You know that, and maybe that's enough.
We'll see. Early pick 5 ends in race 5. It also the late pick 5 begins in race 5. We'll be back with late pick 4 after a quick break.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. The
Good
Big A.
It's good to have Jose back, I can tell you that. He gives this guy fit. Jose's like Bruce Hurst was to the Mets in the '86 World Series. The lefty from Boston. Brutal. That guy gave me nightmares
I was thinking of the guy who
years.
played for St. Louis who had the funny throwing action. Who was the guy who the really good pitcher?
Willie McGee?
No, starter, a pitcher.
Oh, pitcher.
Really good.
Joaquin Andujar?
No.
I don't remember now. Those Cardinals gave me nightmares too in the mid-'80s. Please.
Race number 6. I don't like Jill's Hot Mess. She can win. I think she was second because John Tudor. Thank you, Steve.
John Tudor.
John Tudor.
That guy too.
That was terrific.
God. I'm getting agitated thinking about this.
This horse, Jill's Hot Mess, was able to control last time. And with the presence of second-time starters, including hip number 1, I see this race being run in a much different way. And I think that Jill's Hot Mess is going to get way over bet because of the second and the stake. And I think it's dressed up because of the pace and the dynamics of that race. I'm not saying she can't win. I picked her second. I just think she'd be a little bit of an underlay in here. I don't think she's going to be 5-2. I think she's going to be 6-5.
I think she'll be short too. I picked her because she's stakes faced. She's cutting back to 6, and she beat the rest of the field by over 3 lengths last time. So it wasn't like she kind of won this scrum for second. She went to the lead. Laoban on a prayer, who looks like a filly with a future, just ran by her like she was standing still. But horses like that, especially maidens, have every right to kind of fall apart the last 1/8 of a mile. She didn't. She ran on. She beat the rest of the field pretty handily. I think the fact that she's going 6 is going to help. The presence of a horse like hip number 1 is not well.
But you're going to get a faster pace on a horse that's faint-hearted.
In this instance,
that got an easy, slow pace because it was 7 furlongs, so 6 doesn't help.
In this instance,
why?
I don't think it helps. I agree because there is another horse
speed
in
in there
who can certainly put some pressure. I thought the speed. I went 1-2 with the speed in here, thinking the speed could dominate this race.
Maybe, I don't know. A horse I don't want is No Pain. You have the horse, don't have the horse in there. Either the number 2, we'll take a look at this horse, because this horse is going to get bet. Once again, based in a grass race, I know that horse won for Michelle Nevin the other day. The ROI now in these grass horses getting overbet off a form is now around 40 cents from the 28 cents it was before that. They're bad gambles, and this horse is going to be bet because of a turf race, and you're supposed to stay away from this. And this horse's pedigree is all turf.
And I think the difference between Dancing Buck and this race is there was a chance Dancing Buck was just the best horse in that race.
Well, there's a chance this horse is the best horse in this race.
There is, but there are horses in here, namely
Who? Namely
Jill's a hot mess, who's run faster than her.
One time, under incredibly ideal circumstances. Otherwise, she's run consistently worse.
Well,
I'm going to disagree with that. I think that I disagree with that philosophy. I don't think being the best horse, it's the best horse in the surface. The other horse got a hustling ride by Kendrick, and nobody else in the field ran a step. She won. It's going to happen. I don't know. I didn't
I
like
think that's
her.
my point. My point is, I don't know if I want Michelle's horse on the dirt going forward against winners.
Oh, she'll never win again.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
On
Whereas,
a wet track too, probably.
I just think that I think this field is tougher than the other one.
Have another Danny Gargan stat with Breakfast Bonnie's, first-time starter.
Breakfast at Bonnie's, yeah.
Doesn't have great numbers with first-time starters.
Nope.
He doesn't. And here's one for you. You know, with New York Reds on the dirt, he's 1 for 15 at NYRA, for what it's worth. And on the other hand, you have to use the horse. You can't let these horses from Danny Gargan beat you. Every horse is running, right?
According to the short numbers in the racing form, he did not win with 1 firster all of last year. 0 for 16.
No, he's not a trainer who wins with firsters. And
He got
probably
that one filly just got beat in Saratoga, right? To Ingracia?
On the turf.
On the turf.
Right.
But
And she's come back, and she ran second again, but then she's fallen apart. She ran here and didn't run a step. I'm looking at all the horses that ran behind A Life is Good, the Maya horse coming off the turf. And the question becomes, do you want any of those horses going forward? And I'm going to hope, because a lot of them are getting LASIK second time out, I'm going to go with Eddie Barker and Gracefully Wild, because at least this horse took a little money at 8 to 1 that day. Horse cost $100,000. This horse has a decent enough pedigree. He's a Shackelford, but the dam side's actually pretty good. It's a Chad Brown, Wild Grace, I think. That's a half to an okay horse. I forget who it is. And I thought this horse might be interesting second time out getting LASIK, so I guessed with this one because I didn't want Jill's Hot Mess, even though you're right, she's the horse to beat. I'm not saying she's not. She's got too many races I don't like, and with the presence of the 9, who number 1 you know is fast, and I don't think she's impossible either, so I threw her in. I could use any of the 1, 4, 6, and 9.
Yeah.
You and I are on the same page,
yeah.
just in a different order. Race number 7. So we'll start the conversation in race number 7 with Perceived. Because at the end of the day, he's going to win if he runs back to his only 2 dirt races probably, because they're fast enough wins. I don't know. Chad Brown's funny numbers. 180 days off layoff, off a win on the dirt, he's 5 for 28. But he's 5 for 14 of those horses coming off maiden wins. So one's good, one's bad. Ones off maiden wins are good. This is a nice loss for me. I bet the second horse is 7 to 1.
In a 4-horse field, no less.
Yeah. It was a great loss.
Naciello, right? It's Robin.
Rob and I are in that same club of people who lose every tough beat you can possibly be involved in. I don't trust this horse. I don't want to pick this horse on top at a short price.
This horse will be on my pick 5. Would be on my pick 5 ticket. I don't want this horse at even money. This horse might even be destined to be prohibitive in here. This horse might be under even money today. Yeah, look, this horse can win. This horse has never had less than 10 weeks between starts. And now you see the biggest layoff of all. I mean, we're looking at 10 and a half months.
No,
Can absolutely win. But you want to take even money on this horse?
One thing I would say about him, for people who are saying, well, he could have run him in a non-winners of 1. Sadly, and one of the sadder events, especially in racing in 2020, was the passing of our friend Paul Pompa. And there's a dispersal coming up, right? So you're going to run these horses in claiming races. What is Perceived going to get at a dispersal?
And at a dispersal, you have no chance to win 55% of the $45,000 pot in this race.
I might even argue, frankly, I think you could argue, and it's funny, I was saying to somebody, I was actually texting with Chad Brown something yesterday. I laughed. I said I would never ask him about a horse like Perceived. I wouldn't waste his time. You could argue it's a positive that he's running here. because they could just stick him in the dispersal. And if he doesn't get claimed, he's going in a dispersal. And if he runs like garbage in here, he's getting nothing in this dispersal. So you could say that Chad's going out on a limb a little bit by running him here, which probably is a positive.
I mean, look.
I mean, is that fair?
I agree.
If you really didn't think he could run anymore, you might just put him in the dispersal.
Why would you expose
and at least get 20,000 or 25,000 for him.
No reason to expose him. There's no reason, if along those lines, there's no reason to run him for 42 life and him get beat 10 lengths and say,
That's
well,
what I'm
now
saying.
what's he worth?
That's what I'm saying.
If somebody goes to the sale and just says, oh, well, he's got some issues, he's been there, and give 50 for him, he has all his conditions left. Yeah, I don't do. And it's not like he's run that poorly on the turf.
He's run well every time he's run.
Yeah.
He's never run a bad race.
Exactly.
So you know, so I think you could.
But
I don't want to bet him.
Whether you're out shopping or that's right, like Rudy calls it. Rudy says he goes shopping. When you're gambling, this is not a horse. This horse has too many questions at even money. This horse is 8-1 today. Fire away.
Well, it's not,
He's even money.
But the point I'm making is, I think you can ascertain that Chad probably expects him to run at least reasonably. I wanted to show First Line's maiden win. He missed the Derby, but he can be yours for 40,000 now.
Couldn't stop. You couldn't help yourself, could you?
I made one of my bigger bets the Saratoga meet at 4-1 at hometown in this race.
I don't know why you do this to yourself.
I can promise you I'll go to my grave trying to figure out how I lost this race. How about the Rob Atras horse that beat me at 12-1 with the Rose? These horses that beat me that just never run another step the rest of their careers. What do you do with this horse in here? Because you know somewhere in there, I guess there's a miraculous race. And let me tell you something else. They're going.
Blinkers on, rail. This horse is, yeah.
Kendrick's going to be on, what is it? What's your term? What's your Bill Daly?
Bill Daly. Kendrick's getting one word.
Where does that come from?
That's what Orlando's going to walk in and say, go.
Who's Bill Daly?
That's it. I don't know.
So why is it on the Bill Daly?
I have no. It's on the engine too. I have no idea.
Well, on the engine's fine, but why on the Bill Daly?
I don't know, man.
But you
ask
use
one of these ask one of these old timers.
You're an old timer.
Ask
Who are you
Harry
kidding?
Rice.
You're an old
Rice.
timer.
Harry Rice, I know you're listening. Where does the term Bill Daly come from, please?
Why are you putting Harry on the spot? He's got nothing to do with
Harry
this. The
knows
poor guy's innocent.
Harry's been here longer than I'm
You're
born.
the guy using it. What if it's insulting and you don't even know it?
It's not. It's not. Bill Daly. How could it be insulting?
I don't know. Who knows?
Right away, you take it to this. Why do you always go negative?
Well, you're throwing
You're
poor
like my
Harry,
stepfather.
pour Harry under
Everything's
the
negative.
bus.
I don't know. You're like Pete.
What do you-
Everything's
what do
bad.
you
It's
do
not
with
half
this
full. It's
horse?
half empty. What do you do with him? If you play pick fours and pick five.
How about Phil? I want to be like Phil. Because all he does is abuse you.
Phil has no cares in the world. Phil has no care in the world.
I love when I call you and Phil's in the background abusing you. It's my favorite thing in the entire world.
I mean, you got to. If you're playing a pick 4 or pick 5, I don't see how you're leaving this horse. This is not a race where I think you can be comfortable leaning on. We picked Eric Guillot. This is not a race I don't think you can be comfortable leaning on.
We'll go to the
anyone.
videotape with Eric Guillot in Sixto, and this is his debut when he beat the incredible Cousin Andrew.
And Mr. Phil.
And Mr.
Speaking
Phil.
of Phil.
A Phil that you know. I actually know Andrew.
I know you-
I actually know the real Andrew.
I know you do.
You know, I guess you and I had the same thought. You know, am I wrong? It feels like a lot of horses Eric Guillot ran here were live last year.
That's number one. Number two, he runs this horse in the maiden race. He brings him back and runs him into Gotham. Forget that. He ships him to Oaklawn to run them 2 turns against Pneumatic Stakes winner, Captain Bombastic Stakes winner.
Good move, Eric.
Okay, we don't see him for a couple of months.
They sanely took him away from Eric.
Yep. He shows up at Lone Star. He gets beat less than 2 lengths going 6 furlongs. So what do? They run him back around 2 turns again. I mean,
Well, he's going a mile here, though.
yeah, but it's one. I think the 1 turn certainly
So
helps
you
him.
think that 1 turn's going to make the difference
I
between
think
him
it's
losing
gonna- I
by a
think it helps.
combined
Yeah.
56, 70, and 3/4 lengths? Suddenly 1
Oh, the
turn's going
class
to matter.
relief's going to help. I mean, this is another kitchen sinker, right? He's dropping in for a tag for the first time.
Well, you were against
The fresh
kitchen sinks
gelding.
yesterday. Yesterday you were against kitchen sinks. Today you're
Which
for
one was
them.
I against yesterday?
The horse in the first race that won by
maiden.
10 lengths, yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the kitchen sink for the horse making their second start.
Except the
when
ones
the
you
horse is making their 6th start in over a year.
There's no
and it's been-
consistency here.
This
No
horse,
consistency here. I'm just pointing it out.
because they're all individual
I
races.
thought this was a very hungry-looking group if you get beyond perceived, and I don't trust First Line at all. Jerusalem Gates is okay, makes sense. I didn't want to pick him at short prices. I looked for somebody else. We'll see what happens. It's a guess with 6 that he comes near his live. But I think you have to worry about the distance, even though he's a curlin. Race number 8, the Gravesend. Gravesend feels like one of those races as a kid. It was always in the winter. Some good horses in it. You know what horse maybe before your time, but I remember, is Christopher R.
I remember the name.
It's a Maryland, really good Maryland horse. I remember him coming up and winning one of our winter stakes and paying $13 and thinking, wow.
It was like early 80s, right? Was that
No,
earlier than that?
70s. No.
Oh, I wouldn't remember that.
No, mid-70s. Mid to late 70s.
That is before my time, Andy. I
Right,
remember
before there was sort of a dark period in America before Anthony was born. We'll take a look at Happy
Yeah.
Farm's last race, losing to Mind Control. I have only one strong opinion in this race. I wouldn't bet a nickel on this horse. This horse has every earmarks of why a guy like Jason Service is currently under indictment for using performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
Where this horse, who he claimed for $30,000, went from being what he was to being what he became, I have no idea. Well, actually, I do have an idea, and it's the reason he's currently under indictment.
This was some performance.
Good
from
luck to
Mind
Linda.
Control.
Linda's on a free roll. She's on a free roll because
Scratched this horse for 62.5 before we went on our break. To run, he almost won this last year. Firenze Fire
that's right.
took him down the last 3 jumps.
That's right.
He took that. He jumped the shadow at the 16th pole.
He has the speed again.
He is the speed again. I tinkered with putting him on top. We stretched the Gravesend out to 6.5 furlongs this year.
Well, that was something I think a lot of people were clamoring for. I think there was an enormous amount of argument in racing why the Gravesend is staying at 6 furlongs.
Happy Farm will always be near and dear to my heart. He was the first stakes winner I ever called. I called his fall highweight last year.
All right.
And then I called the Gravesend too, so I almost got him home twice.
He's going to beat me.
He's going to be in front. Yeah. The question is, how far in front is he going to be?
I don't know, and that's a question because Withstand the Man.
Withstand the Man in here. I mean, the race could very well go through
We can go to the replay, Jose.
what Eric Cancel does with Stand the Man in here. Now, Stand the Man's a horse that is not without speed.
He's without speed in a field like
He's
this.
without speed in a field like this. And I think he's up against it at the
He ran very
trip.
well in here. This was a ridiculous slow pace that he was running against. And while speed would well, I don't know if the track was carrying speed, and he still almost won this race despite the fact there was absolutely no pace whatsoever.
He made up
So
a
what he
lot of
showed in
ground.
here is that he can be effective in races even when the pace is dramatically against him.
But he's a horse that has, going longer, has had some positional speed.
But yeah,
he
he's going
can't
longer
get him,
as the pace
He
is
can't
slower.
get him, right. But what I'm saying is he can't get in front of Happy Farm. But maybe he gets himself in position over a horse like My Boy Tate, over a horse like Pete's Play Call. I think what he does
I don't
early
agree
on,
with either one of
despite
those.
Happy Farm running all, I mean, Happy Farm should be on a 3-length lead here.
Maybe. I don't know. Has anybody ever run 3-length leads around this place?
You know when they are? When Jose Lezcano smells the proverbial blood in the water and thinks he could steal this race by opening 3 on the field. And I think this horse could.
Okay.
I don't know if he will.
I don't believe it'll happen.
Okay.
I think it's possible it could, but I have no idea what he is. I have absolutely no idea if he can run at all anymore. As far as My Boy Tate, we'll look at his last race. I disagree with the notion that this pace was actually super slow. Because
Okay.
they're just very hard to gauge the paces that day. Because there were only like 3 dirt races, I think, or only 3 sprints to look at. It was very hard to gauge. I don't know this pace was as slow. And he made the big move in the 3rd quarter. The winner made his move in the last 1/8 of a mile. The winner was a heavy favorite, funny guy. He's pretty good. And I think that My Boy Tate can be closer in here. And I like My Boy Tate. I'm going to stick with him. I think the 6.5 could be perfect for him. 6.5.
Tell you one thing, wet track's going to help.
Is
he
it?
loves a wet track.
Is he
He's
better
run
in a
his-
wet
probably
track
ran
than a
his
dry
best-
track?
He's probably run his 2 best races. They're not on his card, but he ran his fastest figure on a wet track. He probably ran his 2 best races on a wet track a couple of winters ago here. So it's certainly going to help his cause. I was kind of the belief that he had seen his better days were behind him.
You were wrong last time. You didn't like him at all last time. You were dead wrong.
Last time he kind of dispelled that. I don't know what kind of trip he's going to sit in here.
I assume he'll be sitting 3rd, and I assume that the horse you have in top place, Pete's Play Call, is going to sit 2nd. And frankly, Anthony, the reason I like Pete's Play Call here is a comment you make a lot here, and I won't make fun of you like I did yesterday, but this one where you say to me, I think he's going to be the one who's going to be, what do you say?
He's the first to come calling.
The first to come calling, right.
And that's why I picked him. He's supposed to be the first to come.
So you told me Stan the Man was going to get in front of him. About 2
I
minutes
said-
ago, you told
I-
Stan the
no,
Man to be in
no,
front
no,
of him.
I didn't say he was going to. I said it would help Eric Cancel
He couldn't
to do so.
Unless Jorge Vargas is like sleeping in here, he's got to be sitting 2nd.
Listen, I don't disagree with you, but we've seen stranger things happen than Stan the Man get in front of Pete's play call. Let's be honest here. Yeah, he's supposed to inherit Happy Farm if and when Happy Farm comes back to them. He's supposed to be the first one to come calling. That is the reason I took this.
Inherits the way I'd want to put it. I mean, I still think he's going to have to run. I think my boy Tate's going to rate with him. I don't know what to do with him. I'd like to see Jorge Vargas get some more wins. He's had a lot of live mounts. For a guy who's not winning races, he's riding too many live horses to have such a few wins. He needs to start winning some races
I think he's supposed to.
This is another live mount he's on. Doesn't mean he's going to win, but
this horse is live today.
It's a very live mount.
Yeah, and I thought this was a tough race to make a line on. I don't know who's going to be favored in here. I mean, I guess Stan the Man should be favored on his overall form, but I don't know. Fun race.
Oh, who's going to be favored? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Tricky race.
Yeah.
How they're going to bet? How is Happy Farm going to be dead? Is he going to get bet like they think he can run back those races? I mean, that's why David. I mean, you know, I was talking about this with David. He was saying it's tough with some of these lines when you're wondering live or dead. You know, you try to put him somewhere in the middle.
Especially with a horse like
Happy Farm could be 4-1, 9-2 here. He could be 5-2. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. And if you were to strip everything and draw a line through previously trained by Jason Service and just look at this horse, he's not supposed to be more than 5-2. But you have to take that into account.
Especially with this horse.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I'm saying if you were to draw that line through that comment, how you look at his form, how's he supposed to be more than 5-2? But he probably will be, and he probably should be.
Race number 9. I was shocked in race number 9.
What happened?
I'm going to put the replay of Tiergan running second a year ago, January 2000, in a sloppy sealed track. I thought you'd be all over Tiergan in here. Your man Bill Mott, big race in a sloppy sealed track, and you don't have this horse in the top 4. You got negative info on this horse?
No, this to me was the finale today was as tough a race as I think we've handicapped.
It is a little tricky.
All year long, Andy.
Really?
Well, 12 races in, my friend.
I don't know. You found a few of them tough yesterday, so.
Guy picks picks 4 winners, and all of a sudden, let's keep the roll going.
I didn't say anything about myself. I brought up you. You're the one who said it's been as tough as a race, and I'm just bringing it up. I'm just pointing it out.
This guy, man. One day in.
Try St. Lorenzo. I'm going to torture you with that pick forever. Look at all that free juice I gave you in that race. What a rooting interest you got. You didn't even thank me for that.
Listen, I was a little busy yesterday.
You know, he lost
Thank you, Andy.
Very tough photo for 5th.
Look who's buying who a free lunch. That's a Rounders line. Rounders.
Rounders? Oh, the movie? Rounders?
Yeah. Ed Norton says he has a coupon to the noodle shop. And he says, Matt Damon, come on, I'll buy you dinner. And John Turturro says, look who's buying who a free lunch, a free dinner.
I think there's an argument that John Turturro is the best American male actor out there. I love John Turturro.
Great in Do the Right Thing.
Everything.
The Jesus.
He's great in everything.
I haven't seen the Jesus Rolls yet. No good?
The original is good, Going Places with Depardieu, but no, this is not good. It's a remake.
The Jesus Rolls?
It's a remake of an old French movie by Bertrand Blier called Going Places with Gerard Depardieu. It's a pretty wild movie.
Okay.
Pretty wild movie from the 70s, I want to say.
Okay.
Oh, it's a known remake.
Oh, I thought it was just a Jesus Quintana carryover from...
It is, but it's a remake of Going Places.
It's a remake of the movie. Okay, I gotcha. Right.
Which is a great movie. It's a wild movie, but...
I'll have to catch it.
Jesus Rules.
Along with the Bee Gees.
No good. Bee Gees good. Bee Gees documentary good.
Yeah, I mean...
So who do you have on top here, there, Mr. This was the toughest race since yesterday?
Doubly blessed, Mike Maker.
So you took a horse who's never been on the dirt. That was your plan.
Yep.
That was your plan. I picked a third.
That was the plan.
You know, you look at the pedigree. The dam ran a 98 Beyer on the dirt, a 97 on synth, and a 79 on turf. So the Deggett family's all turf.
Look at the Tomlinson for the wet track. Oh, no brainer for me. I didn't even look at the rest of them. It's like Empire Maker and Burgundy.
Do you have it programmed so that like if the Tomlinson's over 410 and it's going to rain, it's like a neon?
I have to explain to you with charts and graphs. I left them home today. Got my bag.
Okay, I have the horse third. I think Tiergan actually is dangerous. Tiergan actually ran well 2 back, was atrocious last time out in the turf. I don't know. I would give theirs another chance. Comes out of that weird Dubai Bobby race. I don't know. Didn't run that day. I'm going to use it. I like a horse in here actually.
What do you like?
I like Beachside. I have a stat. Look at my stat.
Wow.
This is a good stat. This is a good one. As my friend Alan would say, it's a good one. is 8 for 36.
Almost
$22%,
$4
almost a
ROI.
$4 ROI. And there's no like wackadoo price in there. There's a $34 horse, but that brings it up, and you still got an ROI that's $3. You know what I mean? So it's not like, and you look at this horse. What chance does this horse have last time out?
Zero.
This horse doesn't win, but I thought this horse a little interesting with Antonio Arriaga.
None of them win. That's why they're in for the 2 life.
That's the old Harvey line. When I said one day with Harvey years ago, this horse is trouble winning, and Harvey said that's why it's why it's a maiden.
Somebody said that to me seriously the other day. Like, these horses just don't win. I was like, yeah, I know. It's a 2 lifetime race, man. that's the condition. That's how it works. Winners are not allowed to run in the race.
Oh, you got Wayne Potts second here.
Yeah. I partially
Do you
did that
owe
to
him money
annoy
or
him.
something?
No.
Did he
He
like
did a
save
good
your
job.
mom from drowning or
God
something?
forbid.
Is there something going
Mom
on?
almost drowned when she was 12 years old. That's why we don't have a pool anymore.
God, can you imagine? Thank God she didn't. We wouldn't. Who would I have here now?
I don't know.
Shudder. Oh, we calling the races today.
Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine that. I don't know. I have no clue.
Eric. Eric called one race. Better him than me.
So Eric today. Too bad he doesn't have one
Came in with
to
Eric.
help me with a pick.
I walked in with Eric today. You need to head to Naira Bets. Head on over. If you're not a member, go to nairabets.com. We will match the $200 of your initial deposit. Sign up a bonus promo code match200. Play through Naira Bet, support racing, keep the money in the game. Final race throwdown.
Love it.
Go ahead. You love this one. Go ahead.
$20 to win on our last race and Tampa Bay Downs last week. You got to bet 20 to win on each race. If you pick the winner in both races, we will give you a $20 bonus over at nairabets.com. That is today at Aqueduct and Tampa Bay Downs.
Okay, wait. So according to somebody on Twitter,
What do you got?
it's from Father Bill Daly, famous old-time horseman who developed many great jockeys.
Well, there you go.
Got it from the Gambling Dictionary. Thank you to Jose Jimenez
you.
for that. Appreciate that.
See, it wasn't a bad thing, Andy.
Got a lot of good information. We got that. Jeff came in with that too.
Our man Hirsch told me John Tudor as well.
Yeah, I know.
just didn't see the
He needed to tell all of us. Yeah, I know.
phone. Leave my man Hirsch alone.
I followed him on Twitter. Isn't that enough?
Yeah, I guess it is.
All right, we're
I guess
done.
it is.
Some guy I know is going to be doing this reprise, the scratches and changes in a minute. So don't go away because it's going to be amazing.
That's what I say.
Have
Don't
a
you
great day.
dare go away. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Aqueduct. Temperature hovering around 50 degrees today. Partly sunny skies as the shadows fall over the Big A with 28 minutes to post. Main track is sloppy from last night's rains. Empire 6 starts in race number 4. The Gravesend is race number 8, today's feature. Here are the changes for the 9-race card. Early pick 5 begins in race number 1. Equipment change for the 1, Camouflage Kisser. Cheek pieces again. Cheek pieces again on the 1, Camouflage Kisser in race number 1. Race number 2 starts the early pick 4. This is a change being announced for the first time. Jockey Louis Reyes not here today. There'll be a rider change to be announced on the number 8, Heartstrings. Rider change to be announced on the number 8, Heartstrings. Along those lines, trainer Greg Matisse, please contact the clerk of scales. Greg Matisse, please contact the clerk of scales. No changes in race number 3. A scratch being announced for the first time in race number 4 where the Empire 6 begins. Scratch the number 4, Lorenzen. Race 4, scratch the 4, Lorenzen. And a rider change on the number 5, Second Fortune. Make the rider Heeman Harkey. Heeman Harkey rides the 5, Second Fortune in race number 4. Late pick 5 begins in race number 5. A rider change for the number 3, Gaultier, to Benjamin Hernandez. Benjamin Hernandez rides the 3, Gaultier, in race number 5. A rider change being announced for the first time in race number 6. The 1, Joe's a Hot Mess. Make the rider Jose Lascano. Jose Lascano rides the number 1, Joe's a Hot Mess, in race number 6, the start of the late pick 4. No changes in race number 7. And no changes in race 8, the 62nd running of the Gravesend. Race number 9, scratch the also eligibles, the 14 Pricing Exercise and the 15 Royal Suspect. Scratch the 14 and 15 from the finale. Main track just upgraded to muddy. It is also sealed. A muddy and sealed main track. A beautiful spring day here in South Ozone Park. 9-race card set to come your way. First post is 26 minutes away at 12:20. Enjoy your day here at the Big A.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com. Need help in finalizing your picks for the next race? Check out the Trackmaster selections provided by Equibase on every U.S. thoroughbred and harness track on Naira Bets. Use these selections to get quick expert advice from professionals in the business. Check out the thumbs up graphic next to the pick and the wager pad and scroll down for more details on the horse. Trackmaster selections available on Naira Bets and the Naira Bets app.